In today's society, technology is a common aspect of our life. How does it affect our relationships with our friends and family? There are many ways that technology can help us maintain relationships. An example of this is by phone calls, social media sites, FaceTiming, etc. What is social media? Social media is basically any form of social networking in which an application or a website is used to connect with friends or family. Examples of social media is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and YouTube. For example, Facebook is a commonly used social networking site in which people can message each other, watch videos, comment on people's walls, and accept friend requests. Instagram is another form of social networking that is mostly picture and video based, where you can DM, which is direct message, your followers or people who follow you. You can send them pictures and you can comment on others' posts and pictures. Snapchat is similar to Instagram in the way that it's all picture based and all video based. The main differences between Snapchat and Instagram is that on Snapchat, after you posted something to your story, after 24 hours it will automatically delete, where on Instagram it's there forever until you delete it. The next thing is YouTube, which is all video based. There's no photos and you don't have a lot to do with your personal profile, but you can go on and comment on these videos. You can save videos to your favorites, and you can do basically anything between watching tutorials on how to cook something, for example, to how to troubleshoot a problem that you may have with a kitchen appliance. And lastly, Twitter, which is mainly focused towards younger people, has a lot to do with basically like really short text posts, which is for the most part people talk about themselves or they share videos that interest them, and they can post pictures. You can tweet back and forth to each other on Twitter. Who uses social media? Earlier, when social media was basically first starting up, it was more targeted toward younger people, and mainly the younger generations were the ones who were most involved. However, today social media focuses on anybody who wants to focus on communicating or possibly even keeping like a close relationship with their friends and family. The main example of the larger social media is Facebook, which has users ranging anywhere from ages 13 up to 78. A lot of my family uses Facebook. All of my grandparents have a Facebook, but it's different from the other ones in age ranges. And this is an infograph. The data came from Salloway, Caruso, and Nelson, and it shows ages 18 to 19, 95% of the people in that age range have some form of social media. From 20 to 24, 92%, 25 to 29, 72% have social media, 30 and older, 37%, and of all student ages, 85% of them have some form of social media. Social media can be used as a therapeutic tool, according to Zilberstein, because for example, if some people were unable to get out of their house, they could use social media as a form to see what's going on either in their community or in the outside world. that they may not have access to otherwise. How can it help maintain relationships? For example, say you live in the United States and you have a family member or another very close relative who's overseas. If this were the case, you would be able to use applications such as Skype or FaceTiming, for example, to video call them. According to Levine, technology can act as a means by which communication is amplified, which further backs up what I just explained about keeping close-knit relationships. Another form of communication that helps shape relationships, and has been doing so for a very long time, is phone calls. They have been one of the main forms of communication since the telephone's popularity rose in the early 1900s, and still to this day, it remains one of the most simple forms of communication. What is FaceTime? FaceTime is basically a spin on telephone calls, just to where you can video call somebody. You can chat face to face rather than talking just over the phone. It makes you feel like you're more connected to whoever you're talking to. FaceTime was introduced in 2010 and was invented by Roberto Garcia, who is an Apple engineer. Another common form of video communication that's similar to FaceTime is Skype. The only difference between the two is that FaceTime is exclusive to only Apple products, while Skype is anybody who has the Skype application. And although there are many positive impacts that technology has on strengthening and maintaining relationships, there are also some downsides. One of these being the main one is that technology can take away from real world interactions. For example, a lot of the times if you go out to dinner, you'll see typically a family and 2 or 3 of them may be on their phones. Another con to this is that kids now tend to be too involved with technology early on in their lives. Like back in the day, kids would go outside and do things that are deemed kid things, such as like riding their bikes or hanging out with their friends, and now a lot of the times they'd rather be inside on a tablet or watching TV, which takes away from some of the social skills that they will learn otherwise doing other things. It also decreases family time, because now family time is sitting in your living room or sitting with your family while you're being distracted by your phone or other devices. And another problem, mainly that you see with social networks, is that it can lead to a thing called social envy, which is basically seeing what a user posts about their relationship, which leads you to think, oh, why doesn't who I'm with do that for me? Which could obviously lead to problems in your own personal relationship. Another con is that also has to do with relationships, is that a lot of the time the people who you're with will be on their phones, like when you're having personal time. And teens who were more involved with technology, or who were more technologically dependent in their relationships, were less communicative, according to Nessie. Technology also, like I've said before, has positive impacts on relationships. The positives to technology with forming and building relationships is that it allows people to be in touch with other close family or close friends who have become distant, no matter the location, no matter if you're in a different country than they are. And also, you're now able to send either photos or messages to friends and family. Another newer or more recent thing is meeting people online, either through having common interests that you see on social media or through dating websites. And another thing that kids might not be fond of, that parents are fond of, is that it allows the parents to know where their kids are with information entered either through iCloud. Say, for example, during an emergency you needed to reach your child but you were unsure of where they were, you could enter your Apple ID and just find out where your kid's at in the click of a button. Once again, there are many positive ways that technology can shape or build future or existing relationships. The main points, once again, are through FaceTiming, through social media, through texting or calling, whoever you want to get in touch with. And although technology gives us many opportunities to improve and maintain our relationships, we should not lose focus of what's important, and we should focus more on spending time with our families and not letting social media and our cell phones and other forms of technology be a distraction.